quick, make sure everyone's audio's good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Thumbs up.
7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, sir, we're ready.
All right, good evening. Here with me today is Deputy Commissioners Brian Nadeau and Kevin Jones, Chief of Patrol Ryan Lee, Chief Olufemi Akani of Republic Integrity Bureau, and Ken Thompson, the lead monitor of our monitoring team. This evening at approximately 7:17 p.m., officers were patrolling the area of around Pennsylvania Avenue and Lawrence Street. Officers got out of their vehicle to attempt to stop an individual who took off running. They believed he had been armed. The man ran from officers and a brief struggle ensued when they caught up to him. At some point, the male broke away from an officer, pointed a handgun, and fired his weapon. As an officer was struck in the foot, multiple officers returned fire, striking the male. The male was transported to an area hospital where he's currently listed in critical condition. We're still very early in the stages of this investigation. I can confirm that a weapon was located on the scene where the male was found. The officer's in fair condition here at Shock Trauma. I want to thank the staff here at Shock Trauma, our great partners here, for always taking care of our officers. We're still awaiting identity of the male, however, we do believe he's an adult. At this time, we've activated our critical incidents recording policy, and our Special Investigations Response Team is working alongside the Mayor and Attorney General's office. At this time, we'll take a few questions.
We'll start with questions over here with Channel 11, Kyrie, and we'll work our way over.
So what led officers to approach that suspect? And obviously that happened. You saw like a lot of houses and, like apartments over there. Obviously a lot of people probably concerned. What message do you have to that community, that neighborhood?
Well, the officers are out there doing exactly what we want them to do. They are trying to get guns off the street, trying to solve crimes, and for some reason they believed that the individual was armed. They had information that he may have been armed. So when they got out to talk to him, he walked away, refused to stop, took off running, and that's when the encounter occurred.
And, again, like lots of houses around there, lots of concerned residents, what's your message to that neighborhood?
That we're there to try to keep them safe. This was an individual who had a handgun. We don't know what he was going to do with the handgun. The officers could have interrupted a shooting, a homicide. We don't know what he was going to do with that gun if the officers would not have stopped him.
You said the officers had information that this individual was armed. Could you elaborate on what that information?
I said they may have had information that he was armed. They had whatever information they had. We have not talked to the officers yet. Our homicide unit and our attorney general is working. The officers have to give a statement, so we won't clearly understand or know why they stopped him. But on the video, you can see that as they approached him, he clearly did not want to talk to the officers. And as they walked closer, he took off running, and eventually, when they got together, where they caught up to him, a struggle ensued, and he pulled the weapon.
How many shots were fired?
I don't know. There were multiple rounds.
Right here.
We obviously know after officer-involved shootings there can be a very large scene, but this one was bigger than a lot of us have seen before. Why such a huge response for this?
If you've ever been to Pennsy and Lawrence, there's a lot of people there. Once you see the body-worn camera, you will see that the crowd actually interfered with our ability to give the victim aid. They basically swarmed our officers. Multiple Signal 13s were called. Officers from all around the city had to come to kind of quash the disturbance so that we could get the victim to the hospital.
Will there be an increased police presence in that area following this?
There's always an increased police presence in that area. It's an area that we get a lot of complaints about for drug activity and a lot of different crimes in that area.
Commissioner, usually in circumstances like this, a police-involved shooting, you have said in past incidents that the officers observed what they believe to be someone who may be carrying a gun. I don't think I heard that in this particular instance. Or did police observe something to make them think that this man had a gun on him, and then that's when they approached him?
We don't know. We know that they had an idea and a good suspicion that he had a weapon on him. That's why they got out of their car to approach him. He was avoiding them. We didn't talk to him yet, so we don't want to use any phrases that come back that maybe that's not the case. So once we talk to the officers, when we release the video, we'll tell you exactly what the officers saw and why they approached this particular individual.
But for now, initially, officers believe he was armed and got out the car and approached.
Correct.
Did you say how many officers were shooting at the suspect? I might have missed that.
At this time, we believe there was 3 officers who fired weapons.
Okay. And then this was like a scene. There's a lot of video circulating on social media of people who were like getting into fights with police officers, being escorted away from the scene. We of course heard the foxtrot that was flying up above. Any comment about that scene? Was it chaotic?
It was very chaotic. It's obviously we've got an officer who shot. We got an individual who was shot, who had just shot at the officers. If you look at the video, you'll see as the officers started the foot chase, the crowd was running behind the officers. So as soon as the victim went down, the crowd swarmed the officers, and we had to back away and couldn't give him the proper aid that we would have liked to have done until we had enough units on the scene to make it safe. And we also had to recover his weapon because we did not want anybody to remove that weapon. So it was very chaotic from the body-worn camera. The community was out there, and they were not happy, but we were doing our job, and our officers did a fabulous job. Eventually, enough officers got there to quash the situation, and we were able to get it under control.
Last question with me.
Yes, sir. Officer, Commissioner, you mentioned aid. You guys usually respond right away when there is a police-involved shooting by rendering aid. For clarity's sake, was aid given to this individual?
It was eventually given to him by our officers, I believe, or the medics. We didn't get that far in the video. What I can tell you is that as soon as the incident occurred, the officers approached to try to give aid. They were forced away because the crowd overtook them and there was multiple individuals standing around the victim trying to give aid. And I don't know if any of them knew first aid, but we were not able to do it until we were able to get that crowd under control.
Thank you, guys.